my colleague, Honorable Minister of Information, my other colleagues, Honorable Minister of Labor, Productivity, my brother, my colleague, Architect Darius, Honorable Minister of State, Minister of Niger-Delta Affairs, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Niger-Delta, another Permanent Secretary is present here, Directors, the SSA to the President on documentation, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would love to thank the Honorable Minister of Information for appreciating God for my life, for the years He has kept me on this earth. And to all of you who joined him to thank God for me. For me, I appreciate God for all that He has done for me for the past 54 years. And I say, to Him alone be the glory. Now, you are all aware that the Ministry of Niger-Delta Affairs was created in 2008 to attend to the issues of the Niger-Delta. Is it infrastructure? Is it security? Is it issues of employment? That was how the ministry was created. And the ministry started functioning from April 2009. And as its founding minister, we had one of Nigeria's finest, Chifufot Ekaite, as the pioneer minister of the Ministry of Niger-Delta. We started touring around the entire Niger-Delta, consulting with the people on the way forward and what to do. As the Minister of Information said, this is the region that today provides for over 70% of our earnings. And when this ministry was created, like what Mr. President, late President Yar'Adua said at that time, he said this is the region that is taking care of this country. He believes and he confirms that the region has not gotten the best from the federal government. For him, it was important that something good is done for the region. And that was why he told the people of Niger-Delta, give me peace and I will provide development for the Niger-Delta. When we started, the key targets were increased access on physical and social infrastructure, that is roads, water, electricity, housing, healthcare, school facilities. Preservation and conservation of the environment through remediation, rehabilitation, restoration of degraded and polluted ecosystem. Elimination of militancy through consolidation of post-amnesty projects and programs. Reduction of oil-related conflicts in the region. Reduction in the high incidence of poverty caused by oil extraction activities in the area. Reduction in the rate of unemployment. Reduction in intra-ethnic and communal crashes. Now, talking about the achievements over this period, I'd like to first of all talk about the issue of peace and security. Most of the times when we talk about peace and security, because there are things that are not tangible, so many times we will put it aside. We are all aware of the days of 2008, 2009, when militancy was at its peak, where oil production went down to 700,000 barrels per day. And government made a lot of effort to see how they can discuss with the people. When I was appointed, I was made to head the team of the government delegation that went to the creeks to discuss with the militant leaders. It was a very tedious job, but because we believe in this country, and because the government was committed, I led a team of 7 people to go around all the militant camps. Of course, we discussed and were able to bring all of them under one umbrella to meet, and they gave us conditions. We came back to Mr. President and the then Vice President. What followed was the visiting of the former Vice President, who is now the President, to the creeks of the Niger-Delta. And what followed was the amnesty program. Today, as we speak, oil production, as you all know, is in the neighborhood of 2.5 to 2.6 million barrels a day. And from that time to now, what the Minister of Niger-Delta has been doing is to be meeting with various leaders, various stakeholders, various community stakeholders, traditional rulers, women, militant leaders all over from time to time. Yesterday, when I was presenting a paper to the Federal Executive Council, we have always wished that we don't have crisis to manage. But over the period, we had over 50 crises that we managed. Crises between communities and oil companies, between communities and communities due to oil exploration and exploitation. Today, we want to thank God that there is seeming peace in the Niger-Delta, because we believe that once there is peace in the Niger-Delta, then of course there will be increased oil production, and increased oil production means increased revenue for the development of the entire Niger-Delta. I also would love to talk about, if we look at slide 9, skills acquisition centers. Now, when we started, the decision of government was to see how we can train a good number of our youths, like what the Honorable Minister of Information said, in various skills, in oil and gas, in the maritime, in commerce, in agriculture, in ICT. Because the Niger-Delta is where oil production takes place, and most of the activities are oil-related activities. And we also find out that over the period, most times, they talk about the people not having skills. And so we believed that we must train our youths in the various skills where they'll be competent to go and work in the oil companies. And so we started the construction of 9 skill centers. Of course, last year, the one at the door was terminated because of poor performance. And we also reported yesterday to Federal Executive Council that 4 of the skill centers will be put to use before the end of this year. The 4 will train our youths in oil and gas. There is one in Calabar that is going to train our youths in tourism, and entertainment. The one in Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, and Delta State will train our youths in oil and gas and in the maritime. Because we have not put these facilities to use, we didn't wait. We decided 101 youths from the Niger-Delta in oil and gas, agriculture, 701. And by the time these facilities are put to use, the issue of people not having the competence to work in the oil industry will be a thing of the past. Of course, I just talked about non-militants that were trained. Well, when the amnesty program came, there was a program for the militants. I also felt that there was need to train our youths to believe and think that whatever you are, government will be ready to take care of your expectation. I'd like to talk on the East-West Road. Of course, you are aware that the East-West Road has been in the news over the period. And most people do not take the pains to ask questions as to what is happening. I think I was here, I also made a statement then. The East-West Road is a landmark project initiated by President Obasanjo when he was the president of Nigeria. And I want to also thank him for making it possible for government to award that project. It was awarded at a time when people from the Niger-Delta felt that nothing was happening, government was not responsive enough, and there was pressure. And that was what made the federal government at that time to award that contract. Of course, it's a contract of over 347 billion. 347 billion. And it was awarded in 2006. The expectation that the project was going to be completed by 2009. That was the expectation of government as at that time. And when it was awarded, of course, in a country like Nigeria, there are so many competing demands. And so what government provided at that time was only 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion. Like I said, it's a project of over 347 billion. And government was only able to provide 1.2 billion. And the project was supposed to have been completed in 2009. And then when we came on board, people expected that we were to complete this project within a year. I'd like to let you know that in 2010, we realized that there were no detailed drawings and designs for this project. It was when we came on board that we took on the detailed designs and the drawings of this road. It was as if we were starting all over. And then we also came to realize that the road has 42 bridges, ranging from 70 meters to 850 meters. And of course, as at that time, we realized that we were expected to construct 786 culverts. Of course, last year, when the flood came, there were some adjustments that were made. Today, we are constructing over 1,070 culverts along that road. There were no financial plans that were put in place. It was in 2010, under the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan, that we were able to provide a financial plan. We were able to complete the detailed designs and drawings. Today, as we speak, 36 of the 42 bridges have been completed. 36 of the 42 bridges have been completed. Today, as we speak, 786 of the 1,000, like I said, which have increased now, of the culverts have been completed. And today, I can also tell you that there is a financial plan that will enable this government to complete these projects by December 2014. This is a government that when we talk, we do it. And when we know that we cannot do it, we don't come to the public to say it. Today, if you go to the East-West Road, work is steadily going on. Some sections of the road have been completed. And the good news I have for the people of Niger-Delta and Nigerians is that this road will be delivered by the government of President Goodluck Jonathan by December 2014. We are also doing some other projects in the Niger-Delta, 12 roads, other road projects that are doing. But I can also tell you people that these road projects are suffering because they have to make some sacrifice for us to move the East-West Road forward. And so a lot of the funds that were supposed to be for these other roads have been diverted to the East-West Road because we believe that the completion of that road is critical to the economy of this country. And so the 12 roads are in various stages of completion. The East-West Road has a number of long bridges spanning from, like I said, 70 meters to 850 meters. Like the Imo Bridge is over 850 meters. The one in Shoba. And all these long bridges, 3 of them have been completed. We also believe that over the period, there have been needs for government to alleviate the sufferings of the masses in various communities. During the crisis period, so many communities' houses were destroyed, and government took it up as a duty to say that these houses must be rebuilt. And of course, there were various arguments from here and there. And government gave the directive for us to build 360 housing units. Of course, like I said, because of East-West Road, last year in this area, funds were not provided. But this year, funds have been provided, and we believe that before the end of this year, these houses will also be delivered to the people of the Niger-Delta. Currently, as we speak, the houses are at 65% completion. We are also doing a lot of canalization jobs, and particularly in the Niger-Delta, there are so many communities that are staying quite close. But to access one community to the other, sometimes it takes 2.5 hours, 3 hours. But we intervene in about 8 communities, 8 canals. Today, as we speak, movement from one community to the other has been reduced from 3 hours or 2 hours 15 minutes to about 15 to 18 minutes. Let me also quickly talk about one most important thing that we have done. Of course, the Ministry of Niger-Delta has also signed a memorandum of understanding with Hostim Industrial Park that will provide over 5,000 small businesses for people. And we are partnering with Akwa Ibom State Government. We have signed the MOU, and that project is going to be on stream before the end of this year. The jobs that we are doing have been able to create over 9,000 jobs in the Niger-Delta. All the jobs put together have created over 9,000 jobs in the Niger-Delta. Now, last month, the Minister of Niger-Delta was able to launch what we call the Niger-Delta Action Plan. Now, what is the Niger-Delta Action Plan? The Niger-Delta Action Plan is a plan that brings every stakeholder together so that we'll be able to manage our activities. We came and we realized that in the Niger-Delta, because of the number of agencies that are operating in the Niger-Delta, most of the times there was duplication of projects, which led to wastages and other activities. But as a ministry, we came up with a policy that as one of our primary activities, to coordinate the activities of other agencies. So we're able to convince the state governments, the oil companies, the other donor agencies, and NDDC to come under one umbrella so that we do things in a way that if one agency is doing something, the other agency will not have to do that in that community. And the action plan is geared towards providing a platform, a documentation that will give the people of the Niger-Delta and the agencies to actually know what should be done. It is modeled after what we see in other countries. Some people have 50-year development plan, but we are looking at the short term, the medium term, and the long term, where we are going to the next stage now, where communities will define what they want to have in the next 5 years, next 15 years, next 30 years. So that at the end of the day, we'll come up with a comprehensive document. And so any local government chairman, any governor, any president, all what you need to do is to have the document and see what you can do for the area. The Minister of Niger-Delta will also, through that program, host a data bank where every development agency will draw information and benefit from it. So at every given point in time, everybody will know what should be done, what they are required to do. So the action plan will be addressing infrastructure investment programs, social sector investment programs, and of course institutional capacity development and multi-stakeholder trust fund. The donor agencies have been saying that yes, when projects are being initiated, when projects are being done, when projects are being monitored. For us, we believe that what is important is the project to be on the ground. We are not bothered about who is going to manage the fund. So all of us have come together and have agreed, and that fund is being implemented. This program was launched by Mr. President at Akwa Ibom State last month. So I'm pleased to also inform you that today we have the Niger-Delta Action Plan. One other thing we have also been able to do is the establishment of the National Council on the Niger-Delta. This is the first time we are having a body that is recognized by government. They'll be talking about the Niger-Delta today, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Again, that council was also inaugurated last month by Mr. President Atoyo, and the council was in place to discuss the action plan and finally approve the action plan, which we have started implementing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for your patience, and also to say that despite all these things that we have done, the ministry is faced with, of course, budgetary constraints, but you also know that there are competing demands in this country. And it is not expected that all the funds for the country will be met for that region. The terrain is also another problem. Most parts of the region, the terrain makes infrastructure development difficult. High cost of projects, technology is required for infrastructure projects as a result of the terrain. Most times when we talk about high cost of projects, people don't understand. For you to do a project in the Niger-Delta, take for instance, for you to build a road in the Niger-Delta, you have to first of all create another road before you will create the road. You are going to sandfill a place that will take over 6 to 7 to 12 meters before you will put another road on top. And all these things contribute to the costs of construction in the Niger-Delta. And so most times when you explain, people don't understand. But that is the truth. The cost is very high. Even though there is youth resident and insecurity is reasonably abated, we still have cases of intermittent explosion of projects by the youths. There is also excessive demands on our contractors. And of course, the issue of kidnapping. We are aware that a good number of times, even the east-west road that we are working day and night to complete, between last year and early this year alone, we had cases of about 18 kidnapped persons. And anytime, particularly the expatriates are kidnapped, we'll be having sleepless nights. We go over and over and over. I also would like to use this medium to appeal to our people, particularly the youths in the Niger-Delta. We cannot be talking about development and then we'll be frustrating contractors. We cannot be talking about development and we are kidnapping contractors. Today, if you go along the east-west road, as the expatriates are working, one expatriate is being guarded by 5 soldiers. It's abnormal. Even the man that is working there, he has psychological problems. I want to use this medium to passionately appeal to our people. As government is committed to developing the Niger-Delta, we need collaboration, we need support, we need cooperation. That is the only way. That is the only way we will develop the Niger-Delta. In conclusion, it is pertinent to note that the National Council on Niger-Delta has approved the action plan, as I explained, as a framework for the development of the region. The ministry has also commenced the implementation and operationalization of the action plan. The National Council on Niger-Delta and the Niger-Delta Action Plan are fundamental tools for the ministry in coordinating development projects and programs for the transformation of the region. The ministry is pursuing a number of alternative means of funding its projects and programs to address the current budgetary constraint. We have traveled around the world also looking for PPP. And because of some of these challenges that we have, people find it difficult to come to the Niger-Delta to partner with us. Again, I want to say that it's only when we have a peaceful environment that we can even attract investors to come to the Niger-Delta. Once again, I want to thank all of you and to say that this government of President Goodluck Jonathan is committed to making a difference. East-West Road will be delivered, other activities will be delivered. I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
The minister said we need collaboration, we need support, we are appealing